Welcome to the Face the Music podcast. What's up, everybody? My name is Matt, and I'm your host. Welcome to week 23. As always, we have the top 10 songs of the week, news from around the metal world, no special guests today, but lots to talk about. Let's have some fun, guys. You ready? Let's do it. Welcome to the Face the Music podcast, everybody. What's up? How's it going? I hope you all had a fantastic week. I hope you enjoyed last week's podcast, and I hope you all went and immediately listened to the new Gavel Down album, Hearts Run Dark. It's an amazing album. Again, great work to my boys in Gavel Down, and huge shout out to Riff Haven Audio for absolutely insane quality work. Go hit them up if you're a young band. Dan is a magician behind the board, is all I could really say. Go hit them up, and hopefully you guys can work together. So for today, it is just you and me again. Part of the podcast business is it's staying agile and preparing ahead for moving parts. And unfortunately, sometimes that means that things you had planned get changed. What was in the works for this week will remain in the works, but we'll just label it as a big old eventually. I got a pretty busy remainder of August, and September really just started filling up for me. So there will be absolutely no shortage of interviews and guests, and I'll have a couple of pretty cool show ideas that'll probably go down in the latter half of the year. Some tribute shows where I'll have more of a roundtable format. The two ideas on the table right now, one would be for Metallica. If you listen to my Gavel Down interview, that's kind of where that spawned. The next one will be for Linkin Park. And the Linkin Park one is going to have a bunch of cool shit attached to it that some of you already know about. The cat is, I would say, halfway out of the bag with it. For those that don't know, I will have more details to share with you very soon. So get excited for that and stay tuned. On the roster currently, I have interviews scheduled with metalcore band I Kill Ya, skate punk band Oceanside, party metal band Redefined, thrash band Electrocutioner, a brand new New York/Vermont band Summergrave, which comes from Matt of Patterns of Decay and his buddy that lives up in Vermont. And I'm also shooting way higher than I should be with a bunch of big names that if I land any of them, I will be a very happy person. But now is a good spot for me to say, though, just a little plug for myself. If you do want to be a guest on the show, whether you are a band with something to promote or a friend that just wants to come on and shoot the shit, or if you're another podcast host that does music, if you're involved in music in any way, shape, or form, and you want to just meet up and talk about it, dude, let's get it going. Hit me up on my Instagram page, or you can always just email me at the ftmpod@gmail.com, whatever is easiest for you. I'm looking at mid to late September into early October currently for bookings. For all of my first-time listeners, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Face the Music family. I could not be happier that you found your way here. When you're listening, it's our time to hang out together and really just turn off the insanity of life. Forget about all the negativity and all the bullshit. This is a politics-free, worry-free, stress-free podcast. I'm here to talk with you about all things hard rock and metal music and expose you to some fantastic music every week, including at least 3 unsigned artists weekly. and bring you some fun and entertaining discussions from artists that you know and love to artists that you may not even know yet, but you're just discovering. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy. For all of my returning listeners, welcome back, my friends. Thank you for listening week after week after week. Thank you for joining me once again on another episode of the Face of Music podcast. You guys all know what's up by now. You know what I'm all about. Much love to you all. I am so thankful and so lucky to have your support. Now, speaking of support, for listeners new and old, I do have a favor that I want to ask of you. Don't worry, it's nothing big. I need your help just spreading the word about the podcast. So now, big shout outs to Dead Within Days, to Gavel Down, to Riff Haven Audio, to Moon Groove Records, to Oceanside. You guys are legitimately always sharing shit up. Thank you so much. You are all absolutely incredible, and you will all always have my support in return. So if you're listening right now, you are really doing the one thing that I would want everyone to do. But if you don't mind, I just have a few really quick, really easy, and super free ways that you can help even more. So, the first thing, follow the podcast and listen every week. You are here currently. You're doing that. Great job, guys. Number 2, follow the Instagram and Facebook pages. So just social media stuff. Comment on posts. If you see something to vote on, vote. This may be my podcast, but this is our community, and not just Long Island, guys. This is a worldwide thing. The goal is to reach the entire metal and hard rock community. This is not a local thing, okay? Let's get that out of our heads. I like including you guys. I like hearing what you guys have to say. Your input matters to me. So, as I said, just follow the Instagram, the Facebook pages, comment on stuff, vote on stuff. Let's get this going. Let's grow our scene together. And number 3, share the page or a post. So if you're listening right now, you definitely know somebody else who would also enjoy this. So spread the word. Tell them what's up. That's how we create and we grow a community. And if you did all 3 of these, it costs you nothing. It helps me, and it helps your scene grow. Any scene. Like I said, this isn't just a Long Island podcast. It's just where I happen to live. So this is for all the hard rockers, for all the metalheads, for anyone who shares a love for this music. I feature unsigned bands every week from all over the world. You or someone you know could find your new favorite band right here. I only promote bands that I feel truly bring something to the table, something worth paying attention to. So I promise I won't waste your time. And I won't waste a band's time either. If I feel like they're not a good fit for the show, I unfortunately will have to make that call, but I haven't had that problem yet. So, I hope that you found some new bands to listen to because of this podcast, and I hope you all give them a shout out, show them some love, listen to their music. If they come through, go see them on tour. I appreciate all the love and all the support that you guys give me, and I will never take that for granted. I say that every week since fucking February. I think that too many people tend to look at something like a podcast and make it a very self-serving thing. And I know full well that I started this not to give myself flowers, but to give flowers to so many others who are out there grinding and doing the damn thing, trying to make themselves known. The music industry is a son of a bitch, and everyone who's actually out there making it happen deserves some praise. And that's what that's all about, my friends. Really, it's just, I want everybody to succeed. In any way, shape, and form that I can help get people to that next level. That's what means a lot to me, personally. I started this podcast back in February. We're about 6 months in, so it isn't really so new anymore. It's under a year old, but it's not, I've been around the block a few times with it at this point. We're 22 episodes deep, but this is a result of a major life change. Losing my job. And I've talked about it on the show here and there, and it's still pretty upsetting all these months later. It is kind of beating the dead horse at this point, but, you know, it is kind of what it is, right? It was a pretty traumatic thing, truthfully, and it's one of those things you don't see coming. It's unprecedented, and it blindsides you when it does, and especially if you have roots in something, it hurts even more to have it taken away from you. But it wasn't just a job for me. I gave my heart and soul to it for a very long time, and it set back a lot of the positive life changes that were in motion for my wife and I this year. To keep it 100% honest with you, I was extremely depressed. My anxiety was through the roof. I had no idea how I was going to make my next move. So I found a lot of solace in starting this podcast. It helped me out when it comes to just talking it out, to let go of what was keeping me down in life, and it allowed me to grow and discover a bit more about myself, very much like seeking therapy. A therapist will listen, they will ask questions, and they'll help you see things from a new perspective. They can give you advice and techniques on how to make positive changes in your life. BetterHelp is the sponsor of this video, and they're on a mission to make starting therapy easier. Fill out a questionnaire, and you will match with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. Easily switch therapists at any time at no extra cost to you if it's not the right fit. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/facethemusic and get 10% off your first month of therapy. You guys ready for the Week 23 Top 10? We have an absolute ton of great bands this week. Every week is great. I won't deny that. But most of these bands, I'm willing to bet, are going to be brand new to you. But I promise you that every single band and song crushes. Most of these bands are brand new to me too. You guys know the drill. You will hear all of the clips of the top 10 on Spotify episodes, but unfortunately, YouTube does not allow me to upload music as a part of the podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, my apologies, but the clips won't be featured. Now, you can still listen to the full songs on the Face the Music Top 10s playlist over on Spotify. The code will be at the end of the top 10, and it's also in the link that's on all of my socials. 23 weeks in, that's about 230 songs. We are well over 15 hours of music, from artists you know to artists who fully deserve your attention that you may not know yet. Go check it out. Now, as I said a minute ago, guys, this week's top 10 is going to kick your ass, and I'd be willing to bet that you're only really going to know 2, maybe 3 bands on this list tops. So trust me when I tell you that you should go out and check out every single band on this list. They're all absolutely fucking incredible. A lot of them are very new to me as well. I discovered, I would say, 70% of this list doing this week. The bands that will be featured today. We will hear from Silent Planet, whom I'm sure most of you know, Black Coast, The Doubted, Megadeth, who you better know, and we're also going to be talking about a lot more in just a little bit. King, Chainwax, Omnium Gatherum, The Unguided, Villain of the Story, and Adept. Kicking it off at number 10 this week, we have a band that you all better know and love. We have a lot to talk about regarding this band after our top 10 today. They just dropped a fucking bombshell on us this afternoon. The band is Megadeth, if you couldn't figure that out by now. Megadeth started way back in the early 80s after Dave Mustaine was kicked out of Metallica for his problematic behavior and excessive drinking. That's crazy to even think about. How problematic was Dave to get kicked out of a band of professional alcoholics? Well, despite the bitterness that Dave Mustaine has harnessed for the last 40 some odd years, if it never went down like that, we never would have had this legendary thrash band in Megadeth. In 2004, Megadeth released the polarizing album, The System Has Failed. This album drew a lot of criticism towards the band, and I really, to this day, don't understand why. The music fucking crushes. It's in your face, it's heavy, it's incredible and complex songwriting, but haters gonna hate, I guess. The song that kicks off that album also kicks off our top 10 this week. This is Megadeth with Blackmail the Universe. At number 9, we have the band Chainwax out of Wisconsin. Like many bands on this list today, I just discovered them. I was so impressed by this band, their songwriting, vocally. It was awesome finding these dudes. They're also an independent artist. They've been around since 2011, but took a bit of a hiatus, and now they're back and hauling ass. And as I'm researching this band, I noticed they also have a collab track coming out with Sean from Long Island band Devoted Fusion. It's a cover of Seether's Broken. I can't wait to hear that. In October 2023, Chainwax released their album Chainwax Legacy, which features this week's number 9 song. At number 9, this is Chainwax with Proven Devotion. Number 8, out of California, we have metalcore band Silent Planet. Silent Planet formed in 2009, and the band is named after the C.S. Lewis novel Out of the Silent Planet. The band has become pretty well known for their lyrics being more of a storyteller perspective than most other bands who give that first-person perspective typically. The band sings about topics that are about trauma, grief, the human condition, even incorporating political and religious themes at times. The band does not fit into one specific lyrical mold, and they do that in a way that challenges you to think rather than assume. Silent Planet recently released a new song called Wick, which is a song that they released for benefit of Ukrainian children in the war against Russia. Proceeds from downloads will go to a charity via Return of Childhood. At number 8 this week, we have this song. This is Silent Planet with Wick. Number 7, out of Karula, Finland, we have melodic death metal band Omnium Gatherum. They've been around for 29 years now, getting their start way back in 1996. The band cites influences from the legendary Gothenburg music scene, including At the Gates and In Flames, but also Iron Maiden, Death, and Megadeth. The band signed to Nuclear Blast in 2004. They have 9 studio albums out currently, and one more coming out soon entitled May the Bridges We Burn Light the Way, due out November 7th of this year. So put that on your calendars, guys. The theme of the album is severing ties with our pasts, promoting clarity, and moving forward. The band has released a couple of singles from the new album, and at number 7 today, we have one of those singles. This is Omnium Gatherum with My Pain. At number 6, out of Los Angeles, California, we have metal band King. King started as a three-piece band featuring Eddie Velez on vocals and guitar, Tony Castaneda on bass, and Pepe Clark on drums. King have 4 studio albums out, their first released in 2011 and their most recent released in 2021. I would say the album that got them the most traction and attention, though, probably would be 2016's Breathe in the Water. That album really showcased every member of the band. Eddie's insane vocals and guitar work, Tony's backup vocals, harmonies, and god-tier bass playing, and Pepe locked it in tight with his drumming. They're also one of the best bands that I've ever had the pleasure of seeing live. I saw them one time, and unfortunately, it was the day that Chris Cornell had died. They did an impromptu cover of Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog, just Eddie and his guitar. Incredible, incredible cover. I don't even like that song, and it was awesome. King has basically gone on hiatus the last few years. Unfortunately, Tony left the band, but Eddie and Pepe are still working together. Pepe's actually taken a gig with Ministry as well. I do want to throw in there for anybody who's interested, King did a phenomenal cover of Escape by Metallica. Such an underrated song, and they did it so much justice. From Breathe in the Water, the band had 2 main singles. The title track, Breathe in the Water, and the other was a fast, thrashy, ass-kicking song filled with soaring vocals and absolutely pummeling drums. That is our number 6 song of week 23. This is King with Pristine Warning. Number 5, out of the metal capital of the fucking world, Sweden, we have the Unguided. The Unguided are, as you could have guessed, almost any time we're talking about Sweden, melodic death metal. The band has been around since 2010, celebrating 15 years this year. They began as a rebirthing of a former band called Sonic Syndicate. The Unguided are known for writing songs that are very personal, yet at times very storyteller or fantasy-based. They tend to write stories within their albums, creating concept-based albums. They tend to blend electronics with metal. They are great songwriters, masterful with their instruments, and just recently have released their 6th album, Helven, back in March. Today, however, we're going to go back in time a little bit, back to 2020. The band had released the album Father Shadow, and I stumbled upon the Unguided shortly after that. I heard this one randomly on a Spotify playlist, and I was instantly hooked. I threw it on my main playlist basically immediately. Today, I want to share that song with you guys. So, at number 5 today, off of Father Shadow, this is The Unguided out of Sweden with Crown Prince Syndrome. Number 4, we're going to hang in Sweden for a bit. I said it before, and I will say it forever. Sweden's metal scene is second to none. Legitimately, the best of the best metal bands come from Sweden, mostly the Gothenburg area. This band comes from Trosa, Sweden, and they are more metalcore, but the band is called Adept. They began in 2004, putting them at just over 20 years old now. The band wound up ceasing all live activities after a lineup change and the pandemic hit, but they would eventually return to the stage late in 2024, playing in Germany to celebrate their 20-year anniversary. In April of this year, they began updating social media and teasing some stuff, leading to a new single called Heaven. This is the band's first new track released in over 9 years. The band has released 3 new tracks, the third of which launched the announcement of the band's brand new album titled The Blood Covenant, which drops October 24th of this year. The band will hit the road in Europe and the UK to close out 2025 this year. At number 4 this week, we have the third single release that will be featured on The Blood Covenant. This is Adept with Ignore the Sun. Before we get to the top 3, let's just do a quick recap of our top 10 so far. At number 10, we had Megadeth with Blackmail the Universe. Number 9, we had Chainwax with Proven Devotion. Number 8, we had Silent Planet with Wick. Number 7, Omnium Gatherum with My Pain. 6, we had King with Pristine Warning. Number 5, we had The Unguided with Crown Prince Syndrome. And at number 4, we had Adept with Ignore the Sun. Number 3, we have metal band The Doubted. Hailing from Southeast Missouri, the band formed from a bunch of friends who were just classmates in high school. They started the band up in 2014, and before long, after playing a few shows, the band's guitarist relocated the band to Hollywood while attending school, and he recruited some new musicians and eventually moved it back to Missouri. The band just released a new single on July 30th, which is going to be our number 3 song of the week. Get ready for some brutal, crazy-ass groove metal. This is The Doubted featuring Maya Prost and their latest single, Berserker. Coming in at number 2, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, we have metalcore and alt-rock band Villain of the Story. This band started up in 2014. They recorded their first song with Johnny Frank of Attack Attack, and most recently known for Bill Murray. The band has shared the stage with bands such as Suicide Silence, Dance Gavin Dance, The Devil Wears Prada. They've toured with I Prevail. This band, as I said at the start of today's countdown, is brand new to me. I found out about them literally today. To be honest, it was hard to decide who should be at number 1 and number 2 this week because every single band on this list fucking destroys. They're all so good, and I'm so happy to say that I'm finding my way into other states through other bands that I've played right here. It's really cool to grow outward like that, and believe it or not, it all started from a tour poster last week when I featured Halo Scars. It took me to some truly incredible bands. Villain of the Story was one that I felt like had the it factor. Where so many bands are trying to do the same exact shit, Villain stood out to me. The song I'm going to play for you comes off of the band's upcoming release entitled Convergence, Two Minds in One. The album follows the story of a man who's gone through severe trauma and the demon that feeds off of his suffering. They have a full description of the album's theme on their Spotify, so I recommend going and checking that out. And get ready for the full album to drop in just over a month. At number 2 this week, this is Villain of the Story with Broken Promises. Number 1. We've arrived at the number 1 song of week 23. Now, there have been, as always, at least 3 independent artists on this list, but every single band on this top 10 shows that there is no such thing as a local mindset. It shows that people can and will discover your music. I'm sitting here on Long Island, and while I always show my scene some love every single week of this podcast, I want to venture outwards a bit, and I want to see what else is out there. And I can tell you for certain, if I'm looking, there are other people looking too. I have featured bands this week from Sweden, Wisconsin, California, Missouri, Minnesota, fucking Finland. And now we take a trip to the UK that landed our number 1 spot with this band. Also, an independent, unsigned band, I will add. The band is called Black Coast, and they've been around for about 9 years now, starting back in 2016, coming from the disbanding of 2 different groups and the members that found their way together. The band's debut EP landed them on a tour with Stray from the Path. Also, support on that tour was Silent Screams and In Heart's Wake. The band remains dedicated to the groove, and they're described as being new metalcore, which is right up my fucking alley, with influences like Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Deftones, but also Alice in Chains is a big influence on them too. And you can hear all of these influences loud and clear in their music, definitely in the song that I'm going to play for you in just a moment. The band has 3 EPs out right now. They have 3 Minds Volume 1, 3 Minds Volume 2, the Black Coast EP, and they also have 1 full-length entitled Outworld. The band just recently released their newest single, Hopeless, at the end of July, which follows a single that they dropped back in April, which to me says the band is going to announce something soon in terms of maybe an album or an EP getting released. Go follow Black Coast on socials for all updates. Today at our number 1 spot, we have that first single that was dropped back in April. This song was a no-brainer number 1 spot for this week. It goes ridiculously hard, and I'm pumped for you guys to hear it too. Your number 1 song of week 23, this is Black Coast, Without You. You can check out the full songs on the Face of Music Top 10s playlist on Spotify by either searching or scanning the code that is on your screen now. Alright guys, we got some show announcements. Really just more like iterations at this point because nothing new has been announced. But Friday, August 22nd, City Sound Studios in Ronkonkoma, New York. We have Hive Mind, Rominer, Rose Lane, Rat Blood, and Lost Becomes. This is going to be a crazy, crazy show. I'm going to try my hardest to get out to this one. I still have never seen Lost Becomes live. It's an 18-up event, $18 to get in. It starts at 6:30. I need to drill this point home, guys. It is a dry show. No alcohol, okay? You'll survive, I promise. Please respect the venue. I feel like this shouldn't have to be said, but truth be told, fans fuck it up for the rest of us pretty often. And it's the littlest things that you think aren't going to matter, but cause the most destruction. We've lost so many venues on Long Island because people just simply not respecting the place that the shows are being held. Long Island's running out of venues, so please respect them. Don't show up drunk or high. Don't break shit. Have a great night and show up for these awesome bands. August 23rd, one day later, we have a free show happening at Shakers in Oakdale. Cross Island Connect, run by my dude Sam from Bleed the Gods, is celebrating their 3-year anniversary, In Lucid Dreams is dropping their new album, and they have a stellar lineup behind them, with PHO making their Long Island debut. Moonwaves will be there, Valifor will be there, and this will show us the return of Monolith Zero. Go check out Monolith's brand new video for this song, Neurotoxin, right now. This, again, the show is free. It's at Shakers in Oakdale. It is 18 and over, and it kicks off at 6 p.m. It's a great night of music. Big congrats to In Lucid Dreams on the album release, and congrats to Cross Island Connect for 3 years in business. This next show has been a growing annual tradition for years now. Every year, 3 bands put on their annual Monster Mosh Halloween show. The bands are all friends of the Face of Music podcast. Resist the Temptation, Dead Within Days, and Pathmaker. Every year, same location, Polish American Independent Club in Port Jeff, New York. This year, they have Terrigenous opening the show. Both Resist the Temptation and Dead Within Days are releasing EPs at this show. Pathmaker will be headlining. Tickets are $20. Each band performs a full set and usually throws in a few covers as well. Costumes are definitely encouraged. This is a Halloween-themed show. There will be a costume contest, and it takes place November 1st, 2025, which is a Saturday, so there are no excuses. This event will most likely sell out, guys, so please do not wait. Contact the bands for tickets, and with admission, you get all non-alcoholic beverages included for the night. Starts at 7 p.m., and I will see you guys there. So, we got a little bit to talk about in terms of music news. Just as I was about to decide to not do any music news this week, because there really was nothing to talk about unless you want to hear about why Robert Plant wasn't at the Back to the Beginning show, which truthfully, I don't fucking care. As soon as I was about to make the call, the internet lit up about news from Megadeth's, I guess they had a clock on their website, right? Clock was running out, so now when they first ran the clock, I had a feeling it was probably going to be a farewell announcement because, I mean, they've been doing it for so long at this point. But, you know, options remained open. Others speculated it could be a 35th anniversary tour of Rust in Peace, maybe a box set. Some said it could be a continuation of the album. Well, unfortunately, I was right about this one. The band announced that they will indeed be releasing a new album, but it would be their last album. And they would also embark on one more global tour before fading into the sunset. I will tell you, this sucks. Megadeth have been consistently one of the best out there since their first album, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, which came out in 1984, just 1 year after Dave was booted from Metallica. Dave moved fast and quick, assembling a new band, writing, recording, and publishing these new songs. A year later, the band released Peace Sells, one of the most popular Megadeth records still to this day. Megadeth very quickly became one of the heaviest hitters in Bay Area thrash. One of the big four among Metallica, Anthrax, and Slayer, and one of the most true-to-form bands of that era. Megadeth never slowed down. They never stopped writing. They never stopped touring. And though the band has seen dozens of lineup changes, the caliber of this band has never diminished. And Dave has had an absolute elite class of musicians through the years. From Nick Menza to Dave Ellefson, Chris Broderick, Marty Freeman, Kiko Loureiro, the Drover Brothers, Al Pitrelli, Chris Adler, and so many more. He has accomplished so much and had a legitimately incredible career. One of those what-if moments, though. If Dave never got fired from Metallica, we never would have had Megadeth. Metallica also may not have ever gotten to where they are today if they never got Kirk. There's no way they could possibly be bigger than they are today, but Metallica may have ended up being a club-level band. Who knows? All I know is that the way things went is absolutely beneficial to both bands. I'm glad that I've gotten to see Megadeth as many times as I have. They've always been a very accessible band. Always a band that's around. For as much as they write and record, they really have never stopped touring unless they're writing and recording, and that's pretty legit, honestly. I think that Dave is incredibly smart to recognize the when. He can't sing or play as well as he used to. He's been through so many surgeries, through so many health issues, and he's just powered through all of it. There's no doubt that has to have taken a toll on him. I do hope that he's working on getting in shape for this tour, because from the absolute most selfish point of view, 1 hour and a goodbye is not enough. Especially since their set hasn't changed a whole lot over the years. I hope these shows will at least be an hour and a half to 2 hours each. Go a bit deeper into the catalog for a proper goodbye. Truth be told, I don't need to hear Hangar 18 or Wake Up Dead or Tornado of Souls again. I'd rather hear stuff off of United Abominations and The System Has Failed. Give us those deep cuts. Give us the shit that's never really played anymore. But regardless, I look forward to the new album and the final tour, but I do so in the most bittersweet of ways. Congrats on a legendary career, Dave. Please make amends with Ellefson for this final run. It would just be the right thing, in my mind. Just when I thought the news for this week was done, I get hit with something else. So this, for you guys who don't know, I write everything out Thursday. I go over my notes Friday, and I'm trying to record and have it out by Friday afternoon, but it just doesn't fucking work that way all the time. So today, I'm checking the notes, making sure that I didn't miss anything, going proofread for accuracy, whatever. And then I find out that there's a large demand for John Stamos to appear at Riot Fest. This is something that I was completely unaware of. Apparently, Stamos agreed to make an appearance, but only once very specific criteria are met. He gave a 10-item list of demands to the organizers of Riot Fest, and, well, to say it's very Lone Rangers-esque is an understatement. Let's start at the top. Number 1, Riot Mike, the founder of the fest, must get a John Stamos tattoo. Number 2, Riot Fest must hold a John Stamos look-alike contest. Number 3, a local Chicago pizzeria must make and sell a Greek-style pizza named after Stamos. Number 4, Stamos' dressing room must be stocked with the following: a body pillow of John Stamos, a nude painting of B. Arthur, unlimited hummus served in a guitar case. Number 5, the Riot Fest Twitter mod must give Stamos a foot rub. Number 6, a special John Stamos Riot Fest t-shirt must be designed and approved by Stamos. Number 7, nobody is allowed to make eye contact with John Stamos' hair. Number 8, a lifetime supply of combs for his many fans. Number 9, whenever John Stamos is supposed to say Riot Fest, he will be allowed to say Riot Fart. And number 10, John Stamos masks must be printed out for the crowd to wear. Now, guys, I don't understand the demand for Stamos, but I hope I don't get sued for saying how absolutely fucking ridiculous this is. Now again, I'm trying to wrap up shit here. I want to get recording. I want to get this edited and processed and hopefully out by sometime fucking Saturday at this point, when I get hit with another absolutely massive announcement. I had just finished typing out the Stamos shit when I go and I scroll through Facebook for a minute, and I see that At The Gates made a post. This was posted maybe 10 minutes ago from the At The Gates page. I'm just going to read the entire statement out for you guys. It's a lot, but it's best to just be left in their words. We want to take a moment to update you on what's been happening with At The Gates. And to do so, we need to take you back about a year and a half. Below, You'll find a message from Tomas written this past March 2025, where he reflects on the past 15 months and the reasons for radio silence. However, in early May, Tomas experienced a health setback. Since then, he's been hospitalized and he's been receiving dedicated care in a specialized ward where he's being closely monitored around the clock. While this is a challenging time, we're staying positive, but even in a best case scenario, we know the recovery will take a long time. We kindly ask that you respect Tomas and his family's privacy during this period. We know how much the band and the music mean to him. Tomas is incredibly proud of the new At the Gates album we have been working on, and we will try to get you more details on this upcoming release very soon. Thank you for your ongoing support, patience, and understanding. At the Gates, August 15th, 2025. That's the statement from the band. I'm going to read the statement from Tomas now. Tomas says, "Hello everyone. I guess some of you may have been wondering why it has been so silent on the At the Gates front lately. Well, in December 2023, I was diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma, a cancer in the mouth and palate, and have since gone through a lot. It has been a very tough year. First, there was major surgery where they took away a big part of the roof of my mouth. This was followed by radiation therapy for 2 months, and ever since, it was a long, hard path towards recovery. Now, in the beginning of 2025, they found some remains of the cancer, and it's inaccessible by surgery or radiation, so we will see what the next step is, but probably some form of chemotherapy to keep the cancer in check. Luckily, we recorded the vocals for the demos for the new album before all of this happened. The last version of the vocals, the ones that will end up on the album, were recorded in one day, mostly one takes, the day before the surgery, just to make sure that we had the album, so to speak. The vocals were actually recorded before the rest of the album. A bit different, but it felt good to have it done. We have now decided not to wait any longer to release this new album. We first planned to wait with the release until we knew if and when I would be able to sing again, and we were able to support the release with shows. Now, when everything about the future is a bit more unsure, it feels good to deliver this album. It's an album that we are very proud of, and it's the first time in 10 years where Jonas and I have worked together with Anders in writing an album's worth of music. It's a bit more of a return to roots, probably best described as a mix between the last 2 albums we did with Anders, Slaughter of the Soul and At War with Reality. Hope you all will enjoy it. Please respect that we don't want to make a big thing about all this, and I won't be answering interviews concerning the cancer, the treatment, or the recovery. We just wanted this to be out in the open, as we wanted to explain to our fans why we've been quiet for such a long time. I hope you all are well. Take care of yourself, your loved ones, and the time that you have on this earth. Tomas Lindberg, Gothenburg, March 2025. This is a whole lot to process. At the Gates is one of the most influential bands to come out of the Gothenburg scene. Without them, bands like Darkest Hour and Trivium wouldn't exist. Sending well wishes and positive vibes to the At the Gates camp and Tomas and his family, and I'm hoping for a full recovery, or as much of a recovery as you could possibly make. That's a bombshell, man. that's some shit I wasn't ready to hear today. I hope everything's going to be all right on that side of things. So, guys, a few weeks ago, I decided that I am going to, I'll call it steal. It's stealing. That's what it is. Stealing an idea from Loudwire. Loudwire has a series going where they have like bands and musicians play their favorite riffs or drum parts or whatever. That's great for the big hitters, you know, the guys that are in the next league. That's cool. But what about the people that are on the smaller levels? So I reached out to a bunch of people. I did one myself. I put it out in an episode, I don't even remember how many weeks ago at this point, probably about a month and a half. But I'm going to start this up, and I'm going to, hunt people down for the submissions and shit. But I'm probably going to make this a YouTube exclusive thing. So We'll see how this goes. I have one from Dan from Gavel Down right now that I'm itching to show you guys. I will probably re-release mine. They're probably going to be in episodes, at least in the episodes where like I don't really have an interview or something that's going to take up most of my space. So if it's an episode like this where it's a little bit shorter, not a lot going on, I'll probably throw one in here. But aside from that, I think it's just going to be a YouTube exclusive thing, so you can check it out over there. And hopefully Loudwire doesn't get too pissed off at me for it. But just a heads up, I did not want to end this on a sad note. I wanted to give you guys something cool to look forward to in the next, few episodes, or just stay tuned to the YouTube page and shit. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as I said earlier, I have a couple of roundtable discussions we're going to talk about. The Linkin Park thing has so many details and moving pieces right now. And hopefully after this weekend, I will have a lot more to talk about. So I will fill you guys in on that as soon as possible. But I think for today, that is going to just about wrap things up. Thank you for all of your time, all of your support, everybody who listens, all the interactions on social media, who tells their friends to listen. I love you all, and I appreciate you more than words can say. Again, the easiest, the fastest, cheapest way for someone to support a friend or family member's business ventures is to just help get the word out. I do this for everybody in my life, whether it's a new band that pops up, a page for their podcast, their endorsements, baking business, whatever the case may be. It takes zero time, zero effort, and zero money to just share the page, like and share a post. Tell your friends about the podcast, about any of the amazing bands that you've heard on the show. Stream the music that you hear on the Top 10s playlist. If you're watching on YouTube, just crush the subscribe button. It goes a really long way, guys, and whether you realize it or not, that's the kind of thing, that's the engagement that really boosts things like this to the next level, which is where I want to be. I want to take that step up a little bit. Doing all this, I don't generate money. I don't. I do it for free. I do it, more than a hobby because I'm passionate about it. But at the same time, I want to be able to see where this goes a little bit. I'm not asking for any sort of money from anybody. I'm just asking you for a couple shares, a couple likes, a little bit of comments here and there, the normal shit. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Again, next week I have another interview popping up with I Kill Ya, which is a phenomenal New York City metalcore band. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. You've been listening to the Face of Music podcast. Be well, everybody. Be safe, and I will see you again soon. Peace.